Good evening, everybody. This is Andy, aka Montolio, from Clan Magic Eternal here for the semifinals of the Classic Quarter Qualifier number 2. And my opponent is another fish player named Masta _J, and he is playing a blue, white, green deck, and it's got all sorts of dangers for my deck. He's actually running main deck Kataki's War Wage, which is very difficult for me to beat. He's got 2 of those. He's also got 4 Qualifier Pride Mages and 3 Trygon Predators. And of course he's got the quick beat down with the Delver Seekers. So he's got 16 creatures in his deck. And, overall, I think this deck is going to be difficult to beat, but I think it's a better match than what I had last round in the quarters against Planet Walls deck. Main reason being is that he is not running any ramp at all in his deck. Whereas Planet Walls had Lumberjacks and had Noble Hierarchs and Birds of Paradise, and ramp against stacks is very difficult because you're able to get out quickly ahead of me. So I'm happy about that feature. Regardless, he does have some difficult creatures for me to beat. He runs more 1-drops than he does 2-drops, but the 2-drops is the area that's fraught with danger in the Kataki's previously mentioned Qualifier Pride Mages. And of course he's got 3 Snapcaster Mages to get some value out of things like Brainstorms and Swords to Plowshares. Of note, he does run 4 Mental Misstep main deck, and that is notoriously bad against my deck. I think I have 2 1-drops in total on the deck, so I do not see those being more than Force of Will fodder in the opening game. And he also runs 4 Jace the Mind Sculptor, which could be good against me if he, has them against the right type of hand, non-sphere hands for me. As far as counter magic is concerned, he's got 4 Force of Will, and he's got 2 Days and the aforementioned Mental Missteps. So not a ton of counter magic that's going to make a difference. I think Days is one of those cards that can be good against stacks, in the sense, if I drop a turn 1 Mishra's Workshop and he, he's able to daze me, but it does set him back as he's drawing a land back to his hand to do it, so it's counterintuitive that way against a deck like mine. Another thing of note is that Masta J actually only runs 1 Wasteland and 1 Strip Mine, which is really good for me in the sense he does not have a high prevalence of drawing them and getting my lands, and if I'm allowed to use my lands uninhibited, I definitely can compete with this deck and hopefully overrun it. Die roll is going to be very important. He's very heavily spell based. I think he's got 24 spells in his deck. So unlike last match against Planet Walls, where my Thorns were absolutely useless against him, my Thorns definitely have applicability in this matchup. So yeah, we'll look at the sideboard here now. Now, he doesn't have a whole lot against me. He does have 3 Meddling Mages, which I suspect he will bring in, because the Mental Missteps are really terrible against me. And I do believe he will bring in the Ghost Quarter as well, probably at the cost of the other Mental Misstep. He also could definitely shave down on his Jaces as well, but he doesn't have a lot against me, so let's take a quick look at my deck here. So once again, for those of you who are unfamiliar with me or the decks I play, I am running my Null Rod Stacks deck, and I think overall my main deck is pretty good. I only have the 2 dead cards versus the 4 that he's running, as Null Rods do not hit anything in his deck, but other than that, there's lots of utility here. Obviously, I mentioned before, all my spheres are very good against him, particularly because he doesn't have any ramp. My Phyrexian Metamorphs or Revokers are also quite good, namely on his Jace the Mind Sculptor and his Qualifier Pride Mages. Tangle Wire speaks for itself, particularly with no ramp. This card will hurt you, so I'm hoping that I can get out early and get a Tangle Wire down and lock him down. Turnisphere, amazing. Even the Crucible of Worlds is pretty good. He only runs 20 lands. Once again, mentioning the no ramp, so getting any type of strip lock could be good game for sure, particularly in the early game. Lodestone Metamorphs, awesome. Lodestone is extremely powerful against his deck. Precursor Golem is a bit of a glass cannon. For those of you who watched my previous videos know how I feel about this card. It's very, very powerful against decks that can't do anything about it. Masta J does run 4 Swords to Plowshares, which can be a real beating on a card like Precursor and all my lodestones that go with it. So we'll have to be cautious with that. And of course, worm coils are awesome, and even duplicate in this match is, has some applicability. Being able to remove a Kataki's War Wage, a particular Trygon Predator, and Chalice set at 1 and 2 is very powerful against his deck. So we'll see. My sideboard plan for now is I am going to be taking out the 2 Null Rots. They are just not good in the match. I am going to take out the I will also be removing the Crucible of Worlds into the sideboard, and I'm not sure if this is correct or not, because as I mentioned earlier, I do think a Crucible lock can be very powerful. However, I am going to be bringing in another Wormcoil. Triskelion is obvious, and I am going to bring in another Duplicant as well, and I'm going to bring in a Caracas to be able to bounce back his Kataki's War Wage, as well as just giving me some more lands. So that is my plan. I also, depending on how game 2 goes, I will, or game 1 as well, potentially bring in a Pithing Needle to hit his Jace or his Quasali Pride Mage. But I do not like bringing 1-drops into my deck with Chalice of the Void set at 1, which I would absolutely do given the opportunity. So that's the game plan, and once again, I think die roll is very important here. Hopefully I can win the die roll and get some good openers and get to the finals. So let's see how it goes, guys. Okay, guys, here we are. Semis. We did not win the die roll, unfortunately. And nor do we have a great hand. However, this land does have factories and lands to tap down for Kataki's War Wage. And we do have a Tangle Wire worst case scenario, so I think I'm going to keep this. This is not very good, though, in all honesty. Can I actually keep this? So we're going to keep it. I don't think it's very good, but if we had a Lodestone Golem here or something, it'd be much better. So let's see what we draw and do here. Okay, Sol Ring is great. I'm very happy to have that. I think I'm just going to play a Factory into a Sol Ring and see what he does. Yep, that's fine. May get Mental Misstepped. One of the 2 targets I think I have in my deck for a Mental Misstep. So he's decided to let it go, which was a good play by him, I would say. So what we're hoping to avoid here is a Quasali Pride Mage, and of course Kataki. Okay, so we've hit a Tangle Wire. I do think I'm actually going to Tangle Wire here, or I'm going to try and get one through. Yeah, I think that's fine. I mean, it's certainly not amazing, but it buys me time I need. So we'll see if this gets through. He may have a Force of Will. And, we might get Swords to Plowshared here if I attack, but I don't see a reason not to. I don't think we can play scared against him, so if he's got it, he's got it. He may also have a Snapcaster Mage. My logic is if I can get the STP out of his hand now. Yeah, so he does have an STP or a Snapcaster, one or the other. Yeah. But, rather than getting Snapcaster, which is just fine. It's still going to tap down, but it's still a good play by him. Now, we tap all our stuff down, which is the unfortunate part of losing our factory, but not much you can do there. Oh, Trinisphere is decent. I think we're just going to play another factory here. I think this is fine. No brainstorm. So we definitely need to get into one of our big guys here. And I think that's reason to play our Trinisphere, particularly in light of the fact we have another Tangle Wire. Hopefully we do not run into a Kataki here. Okay, no play. That's pretty good for us. Okay, I think we tap that down, and I think we tap a... So he's going to have how many mana next turn? All right, that's going to be 1, that's going to be 3, it'll be 4. I think I just... I'm not sure what the correct play is there, but if we draw into something powerful, Mana Crypt is not it. Having said that, Mana Crypt is not terrible here either. So I think we just we're going to try and get a Trinisphere down here. It might have actually been smarter to play the Mana Crypt there before the Trinisphere, because then we could have followed it up with the Tangle Wire, and that essentially shuts him off. But I suspect this will probably eat a Force of Will, is my guess. And I think we'll just play a Port here, and hopefully we will tap his white down. And hopefully he's got no other colored mana, or any mana at all for that matter. Okay. Okay, no mana, no play. That's really good for us, particularly with the Tangle Wire. So he can't actually force it, and we drew a great card. This cannot be forced with Trinisphere, so I think I'm just going to play a Cavern, and alright, and then I just Tangle Wire, which is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 permanents. Yep. So I don't really need to worry about actually, I can... Geez, I wish I could Metamorph here too. I could, but the problem with doing that is that he only has to tap 1 mana. And I think I'd prefer to bury him under the wire here. And I'll just attack for 2. Oh no, I can't do that. Yeah, I think the smart thing is to get the tangle wire out there while I can. I mean, I would take 2 of his lands away. He would have to tap down 1, eat a 1/2. Yeah, I just don't want him to be able to do it. So we'll play Shapeshifter. And we're going to get down to tangle wire here. And yeah, hopefully we can ride this to victory. It's unfortunate I wasn't able to plug in for 2 damage there because damage is about to start adding up here. Okay, I did not anticipate that. That is unfortunate. So we are going to have to top deck into something here. Because I have no doubt he's got a Trygon in his hand. Can't currently cast it right now. That's not a good one. Disappointed to see that for sure. Yeah, geez. I'd like to be able to tap him down here too. He's going to go 1, 2, 3, so I'll have 3 mana. And of course the Trygon Predator is a problem for me. Well, I think we got to get in here some damage. I mean, we can sit here all day long. We do have, I guess I'll just bring in a mana crypt and tap him down, and hopefully we can get into something. A little bit of a desperate play for me, but I just feel like we've got to keep that Plains tap down for sure. And of course we've got the Metamorph here for the Tangle Wire. So I'm not sure what he could be casting here. A Brainstorm? Yeah. Okay. So this is where a Chalice at 1 would be super duper. Okay. So there is his green source. So we are quickly running out of juice here. Alright, and yeah, I mean, I don't really need a workshop here, I know that much, because I got another one in hand. Alright, Revoker's pretty good. I mean, Jace the Mind Sculptor could be coming down soon, but I'm not feeling overly threatened by it quite at the moment, so I'm going to once again pound in. He taps down 2, he will have 3 mana. And, right, 2 mana, I tap 1 down. That leaves him with 2, and he's got enough to get in there to get a Trygon down, which is just terrible. Well, I think Qasali Pridemage is definitely the bigger threat right now. He's still a turn away from casting Jace, and next turn if I don't draw something, then, I mean, maybe I just put the Tangle Wire down now. Oh, he's got a Force. Is that a Force I saw? He tried to Force, I think. Now here's the thing. I can tap him down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? And he's still buried under Trinosphere. I can beat him down pretty good. Yeah, I think I'm going to try and give it one more turn. Or do I just lock him right out? I think I'm going to lock him out. I think I'm going to try and do it here. So we got a bit of work to do here. We're going to be able to hit him for 4 turn. Hopefully he does not have another STP or Snapcaster Mage. So we've been very threat light this game. We haven't had any. We've only had the Lodestone Golem. Now, this is going to be a turn we need to do something big here to really put some pressure on him. Oh. All right, let's get a big draw here. Duplicate. Not so great, but here's the thing. I mean, it's kind of bad value, particularly with it does take another permanent away that he can't cast something, so it maybe just is worth doing it here right now, going for a kill. Right, next turn would be 6. He's still completely topped down. Can't cast anything. I just think we go for it. It's not amazing doing this, but it's kind of the position we've been given here. And we've got to get the most value out of these tangle wires we can. So. All right, so there you go. That was a real grind, that one. We will take a win there for sure. So what we decided to do here is just a minor change from what we said in our introduction. We sighted out our 2 null rods and we have brought in a Triskelion, and we've also brought in a Worm Coil, and we brought in a duplicant at the expense of a Precursor Golem. I did actually have the Crucible left out, but the fact that he's siding in a Ghost Quarter just increases his probability of drawing one of his 3 removal spells, Strip Mine, Wasteland, or Ghost Quarter on me. I am going to play that, and of course, as you saw in that game, that the Crucible is would have been very good. So let's take it in. Let's see if we can get to the finals here. Let's get a good draw. And this is not a good draw, unfortunately. I don't see how we keep that. I think we got a mulligan here. It's just too non-interactive. Same thing, really bad. But I think we keep on the hopes that we can draw land. You know, it's 2 really high drops, 2 6 drops, 4 drop, and a 3 drop. So we're going to have to hope that we can draw into something like a workshop here. That would be the most ideal situation. We can just rip a workshop here, or sol ring, or okay, not terrible. We are after a land though. So I suspect we're going to be seeing Kataki for the first time here. And Kataki's pretty bad for us because it ties our lands down, but if we rip a workshop, we can deal with this thing. Okay, Tomb is pretty good. Tomb is pretty good, I have to admit. We'll just sit back here, I think. He might play a Quasali Pride Mage on us here. But just on the chance that I'm able to block this thing, I'm just going to sit back. It may have been correct to play the Revoker there, but... So we're probably going to see a Trygon Predator post-combat here. Or we might actually see an STP. Nothing. Wow. Okay. So let's tap down his white source here. And we will see if we can... Oh, Chalice at 1. It's pretty good. So is Chalice at 2. But I do feel like we set this at 1. Because just of my fear of days. And if it gets Force of Willed. Now, what I could do here... Yeah, I think we just kind of got to set the Chalice at 1. 2 is very good. Do we go for 2? 2 shuts off my Revoker. I think we're just going to set it at 1 right now. And we will try and deal with his 2 drops as they come. We definitely have some big creatures in our hand. Shutting off his SDPs is very powerful. So we'll see if we can get through a Force of Will. Nope. I got forced here. So I actually think I'm going to try and get a Jace, put this thing in on Jace the Mind Sculptor. Because he can cast a Jace here right now, which is really bad for us. I don't want him drawing any cards. And, you know, if he gets down a Quasali Pride Mage, then... Oh, well, my decision was made for me. Okay. Minor error, but not one I'm overly concerned about, because I am quite content tapping down one of his lands here. Hopefully he didn't get a Quasali Pride Mage. And we just need to keep ripping lands. Like, being able to get a Triskelion to play right now would just be so huge. Well, interesting. In his upkeep... Did he do that at the end of turn? In his upkeep he did that. Interesting. Okay. Well, I am going to tap that down. I don't know why he did that there. Unless he has another one, and he was just fishing me to tap down so we could attack, but I'm gladly happy to trade 2 damage for no Trygon or Quasali here. No play, no land. Okay, Pithing Needle. That's fine. So he's probably going to name Wasteland, would be my guess. Or he'll name Factory, which is also reasonable, but I'm not worried about that. Yep, and that's fine. So let's rip a workshop here. That would be super sweet. Okay, Trinosphere. Not great, but I do think I'm going to get a... Now, he probably has an STP here. I mean, I could get a Metamorph into play here. Let's do this. I mean, maybe the correct play is to just go for the lodestone here. I'm not sure. But the fact he hit my chalice, that one tells me he's got an STP. We just need to get into a big land here. I just think Jace the Mind Sculptor is the worst for us here. I mean, Quasali Pride Mage is obviously very bad, but so I'm going to make him pay 1 for his needle, and then I will tap his land that he. Okay. So this isn't going terrible for us. I mean, we are going to have to pay for the Revoker here, but setting us back further. And I'm happy to trade here. I'm sure he has another Kataki in his hand, but that's fine. Okay. Workshop. Lodestone. All right. Well, there we go. We're all in on this, and you know, there's a very strong possibility that he's got a land and he's got the Jace in his hand, and we're just kind of in a lot of trouble here. But if we're somehow able to stabilize here, I think we can lock this up pretty quick. Okay. So what we don't want to see here is a Trygon Predator. Okay. He does have another land. Will he STP me here? Which I'm also not terribly distraught with. This, okay, Quasali Pride Mage is good. If he attacks me, that's not so good, but I still think I have to block. And hopefully we can get a duplicate going next turn. No attack. Okay. So now he's going to nuke me after I've paid, which is fine. And now my tomb is starting to come into play because he's got the beatdown going on me. I actually think Pithing Needles are really bad in this match. Okay. As I've mentioned in previous videos, oh, of course. Alright, not much I can do about that. I don't know that I really want to plunk myself here, but I don't see how I don't do it. I hate to pay 4 life at this stage in the game, but I think STP is really his best bet here, or Jace the Mind Sculptor. So let's see what happens. We got to do it. We can't sit back. I wish that had been a factory or even a city of traders. I would have been in much, much better shape. Now, if we can get this Triskelion off next turn, uninhibited, he's only got 2 cards in hand without incurring any damage here. This is probably a Jace, the fact that he's going for a land here. And Jace is bad news for us for sure. Yeah, so it is. Okay, well, we can get a Triskelion into play here. 2, 4, and we can kill both, I believe. Yeah. All right. Well. Yeah. And if we draw a non-taxing land here, we're just gonna plunk this guy. I don't see any reason to wait. We'll just kill him. So a bit lucky on that play to be able to do that and still be alive. Like with the 2 sol lands, we're now literally down to 2 lands. So we'll have to hope he doesn't draw well. Brainstorm is definitely a good card, particularly with 5 uninhibited mana. So we'll have to hope for a little bit of a whiff here. Like a workshop would go an awful long way here for us. Still wouldn't solve all our problems, but... Okay, another Jace. And we cannot recast the Triskelion, so... I don't think we're going to get out of this one. Well, we're not dead yet. We need a little bit of help, though, that's for sure. Oh, that's a pretty good one. What I wouldn't give for a Revoker right now. Oops. So we have 3 mana here. 3 mana. And I can't quite cast a Metamorph here. Alright, well, let's plow into the Jace. We're going to attack Jace the Mind Sculptor. No reason not to. And we'll play an Academy, and I guess we'll get down to Trinisphere. I mean, I don't see any reason not to. We need to build up our artifact count here. And we gotta just hope. Jace is definitely bad for us, but we can plunk him and say another Kataki or something like that. This turn, if he doesn't counter all our spells, which is also a very strong possibility. You know, had we not drawn 2 Sol lands, and we drew some other type of land, it would be a really big difference in this game. So, okay, come on, baby, workshop. Oh, Wormcoil, jeez, that would be solid. Nowhere near casting a Wormcoil right now. Well, here's the thing. I mean, I think I kind of just got to do Triskelion here and, you know, hope this gets through. That's all we can do. And hopefully, you know, he doesn't have an STP here. If he does, oh, he's got a Force. Okay. That pretty much breaks our back. I don't think we can recoup from that. He's just gonna, yeah, he just kills us here. All right, so let's go on to game 3. That was unfortunate. I don't know that we do anything different here. Let's just take it in. All right, let's see if we can get to the finals, guys. Big win here. Even that game was looking very dire from us early on. I felt like we put up a pretty good fight there, and you know, essentially it came down to lands dealing me pain. So yes, we'd like to play first. This is actually a great hand, a really great hand. You know, we've got to watch out for an early wasteland on our workshop, but I don't think there's much we can do about that. So let's You know, another, yeah, I think we're going to set it at 1. Let's do that. And hopefully he does not have one of his strip mines. Wasteland or Ghost Quarter. Or Force of Will for that matter. Didn't think about Force of Will. But Force of Will is not the worst thing we could see here. But I think Chalice at 1 is pretty good. Yeah, so we've gotten a double force out of his hand. We need to be able to avoid a strip mine effect here in order to be in good shape. And we did not get there. Okay, good news is we've got 3 lands in hand. Workshop? Nope. Okay. So hopefully we can get down this. Oh, not a. Oh, I was going to say, if that's a Delver, geez, we're in trouble. So he's going to name Wasteland, which is fine. Hopefully we get into another land here. That would be really big. Well, here's the question. I mean, I don't think we can sit back and not do a sphere. I just don't think we can do it. We just have to hope in the next 2 turns that we draw land. Or we draw a, you know, Thorn or something like that to be able to increase our mana for our Academy. Okay. Well, lots of Pithing Needles. I don't see Pithing Needle as being a player in this match, but I guess you can name Factory here, and I'm really not worried about dealing with Pithing Needles, the least of my concerns. Now, it does nullify my Tangle Wire somewhat. Well, more than somewhat, it's pretty damn good. Tangle Wire's a lousy looking card right now. Come on, Workshop. Okay, Port's not terrible. Alright. I think I'm going to take his blue source here, because I don't really want him to be able to ponder or to be able to play a Delver on me. Okay, so he's drawing lands pretty well here. Okay. We're getting there, guys. I think we just get the Tangle Wire down. It's not great, but it does slow him down. And it builds our artifact count, so we're going to do it. And we're going to try and do it. Cost him a Force of Will to avoid this. So Master J is saying it probably does it. Hopefully that'll fetch a concession because we've got a long way to go here. But he has chosen not to tap his Pithing Needles, which is awesome. I guess it's going to force him to tap one of the Pithing Needles. He's figuring this out right now, so that's going to negate it. He doesn't realize that Pithing Needle taps. There we go. So now he's got it. And that gives him a breath of fresh air, I'm sure. Yep. All right. We're going to need a bit of help here. Okay. And I don't think it really matters what we tap. And Chalice at 1. Sweet! Okay, I think we do set the Chalice at 1. We do have a Worm Coil Engine here. Worm Coil Engine is very, very powerful against them. And we also have Duplicants, so shutting off his STPs is really quite key. And you know, hopefully this will get us there. I mean, setting it at 2 is also very good for obvious reasons, but and this could just cause us all sorts of heartache for making that decision, but let's see. No play. All right. Well, we're about to come in with a big player, so Let's see what happens. Big top deck. Tangle wire, that's pretty good. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I've got 7 mana. I can play a... This would be 3. Yeah, we just got to get a worm coil, and we just don't have any choice. Let's get it in, and hopefully it doesn't get forced. Or dazed, for that matter. I mean, this is very... I didn't even think about the potential of a counterspell here. Nice. Okay, looks like we're going to get there, guys. I hold my breath for a second because some people will say good game to you and play on, which is pretty brutal. But we'll take it, and yeah, off to the finals.